Howdy everyone, so today we are going to be replacing the bulbs in the gauge cluster. So this will work for 91 to 99 Paseos as well as Tercels, should work for Starlets and Ceras as well. So the main things you'll need, first you'll need a 10mm socket with ratchet, and this is going to be to get one of the panels off for the underside of the steering column. That should help with ease of taking off the speedo cable. And then on top of that you'll need a Phillips head screwdriver. If you have plastic trim tools, that will help as well to take off some of the things, as well as a magnetic pickup tool if you drop a screw. And then as far as bulbs go, so you'll need 15 T5 bulbs and then 3 T10 bulbs. So the 3 T10 bulbs, those are going to go to the main gauges. So that's going to be the speedometer, tachometer, as well as the coolant gauge and gas gauge. And then one of those bulbs is also going to be a T5, and that one's going to be for the gas gauge and temp gauge specifically. And then all the other bulbs, so like the handbrake light, oil light, seatbelt light, door light, that kind of stuff, those are all going to be T5. So if you aren't going to replace those, you don't really need them. Also, one thing to note too, so for the turn signals, if nobody's been in there before, the turn signal bulbs will have green caps on them. Those are not required to keep on. You can either keep them or take them off when you switch to the new bulbs. If you have LED bulbs, you probably won't be able to put them on anyways, but all it does is just make the turn signals look green. So in my case, I took the cap off and I left them off. So the turn signals still appear green. They just aren't as vibrant, if you will, of that green color. So we'll go ahead and get started with the install now. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is take out this Phillips screw right there. And then after that, this bezel will be able to pop up. It's just held in by little plastic pieces. Okay, so that screw is out. So now all this does is just pop right out, so you can kind of get your nails in there. You just have to be careful. So there's a couple clips here on this side. There we go, so there's one side. So we'll go ahead and do the other. There we go. And then if you have any buttons here, obviously, you just want to make sure to unplug them. So mine is going to be for the rear heated mirror. So we'll just go ahead and try to unplug that. Okay, so on the side of this, there's actually two clips that you can push these in to get it out of this bezel here. So one on that side and one on this side. And then all you have to do is, that's the clip right there. And there we go, that is out. So this can come out. Kind of hard to angle, but easier to come out of the right side. So now we have access to the gauge cluster. So you can see there is a screw right there, screw on top there. There it goes. And then I'm actually missing one because I've been in here before, but there should be a screw there. And then that should be good to go. And then we'll have to undo the speedo cable from the back, and for that we'll have to go through with the footwell. Just make sure you don't lose these. This has a little cranny that the screws kind of fall into, but they can't go anywhere in there. So okay, and then just store those in your spot. So I got all of these here, and you can see so one of them was a hex, the other wasn't. This is probably the leftover one that was missing because I've had it in my car for forever. But now you can see the speedo is loose, but it's being limited, and that's due to the speedo cable. So next we got to go through the footwell to undo the speedo cable. Hello everyone, Editor Noah here. So after looking at the video when I'm editing it, I realized there might be a easier way to get through the speedo cable. So on the underside of the steering column, there's like that plastic panel that basically covers like all the dash wiring and stuff like that. I believe if you were to take that off, it would make it a little bit easier to stick your arm up there to unclip the speedo cable. And all it takes is so you pop off those two covers that are hiding two 10mm bolts, and then in the bottom right, like kind of near the gas pedal, there's another 10mm bolt that you have to take off. And then lastly, on the left side by your left foot, the kick panel, there's going to be a 10mm bolt hiding there. So you basically have to pull up the side skirt a little bit, which is basically held in by plastic push pins, so you won't break anything pulling that up. And then you basically pull off that side kick panel, undo that last 10mm, and then after that, the plastic piece is just held in with plastic clips. So I think that might be an easier way to do it. But if not, you can just do the way that I did and stick your arm up there and basically unclip the thing. But I figured now that I'm looking at it, that might be the easier way to do, so it's worth to give it a shot. And one thing to note too is if you end up like losing a bolt or something like that, you can take this panel off and you'll be able to basically catch that. So I actually did that later on. I lost a bulb that fell down the backside and I got caught on that panel, so I had to take it off, which I think I will show later on as well. But it's just a good thing to know.
All right, so we're under the dash. Does not feel good because I am a big guy, but you can kind of see. So this cable here runs to the speedo. That's the back. So that's gonna be the speedo. So you gotta undo that. The speedo cable is undone, so it's gonna be this big one right here, this long boy. So I already got it undone, but I will show you how to do it. So there you go, that is the speedo cable. So all you have to do is press down on this and then pull off. Okay, so you basically just have to pull this forward and wiggle it out. So I gotta get it out over those. And basically you just got to kind of work it back and forth. So you're able to get some plugs out. So you can see one is right there. Let me see if I can get this over. Yep, there we go, much better. So we'll go ahead and do this first plug here. So there's one. And then there's one in the middle. Same thing, plug at the top. Plug that one. And there's one plug all the way in the back there, so probably be best to flip it. So we'll go ahead and get on this side, turn it around, and now you get much more room now that two of them are unplugged. Okay, so all of the plugs are out. So you have one on that right side there, one in the middle, and then one on the side. And you can see here they are color coded or sized differently, so it's pretty hard to mess them up. Basically this one goes to the right side, this middle one here is in the middle, and this left one is on the left side, and these two are, one of them is smaller, so you can't mix it up. Then here is going to be the speedo cable as well, so you can see there's just that little clip on, so it's on the bottom actually. You just press that in and then you pull it off and you should be good to go. But we'll go ahead and get these switched out now. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get these replaced now. So these are going to be the main ones here, these green ones, the big green ones I should say. This one here is going to be for the tachometer and speedometer here in the middle. This is the actual speedo cable. And then this one here is going to be the gas gauge as well as the coolant temperature gauge. So these three are going to be T10. You can see these are what mine currently look like. So this one just stopped working completely, as well as all of these flickers. So that's why I am switching them out. And then these are going to be all of these smaller ones. So these are going to be T5s. So we'll take a look here, twist this off. So like this is going to be, I think this one's turn signal, for example, but it's just a smaller one. And those are going to be T5s. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 T5s and 3 T10s. So we'll go ahead and pop these out. Okay, so I got most of them replaced. I ended up taking off this glass because I wanted to see what the bulbs were. So the glass, all it is just 2 screws on the top there. And then everything else is just push pins. And the reason for that is because I only have 3 LEDs left. And so I wanted to see which ones I needed and which ones I don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and shine this on the back and you'll be able to see. Okay, so on the right side there we got, there we go, battery, airbag, seatbelt, low oil pressure, and doors open. At the top is brake and right turn signal. Left side is brights and turn signal. And then bottom right is going to be cruise control, gas gauge, ABS, check engine light, overdrive. So I actually don't have ABS or overdrive or cruise on this car. So I'm going to not put a bulb in those, as well as my airbag light stays on due to me having an aftermarket steering wheel. I don't have a resistor in there. So I'm actually going to replace that light as well, so it just won't shine anymore. So I'll go ahead and replace those now with the LED ones, and then we'll test it to see how it looks. Okay, so we got the gauge cluster back in. So now it's time to test it. So I'll just go ahead and turn the lights on first. And you can see those work beautifully. The dim switch is all the way up, so it's as bright as it can get. Looks way better. So now we'll go ahead and test the other stuff. There you go. So check engine light works again. Battery, oil, door light works. And then we'll try turn signals. That one works. That one works. High beams do not work, so I'm not gonna have to test that one out. So the ones that don't work, we're going to have to switch. So we'll go ahead and get those switched now. Okay, so we got the cluster back in. Everything is plugged in again. And then you just kind of got to finagle this in. So kind of depends on how you want to do it. But I have mine kind of in. Okay, so gauge cluster is in. I had to finagle it pretty hard, so I scratched my cover, but it's in. And then you just want to put the 3 screws in, so the top one, and then these bottom ones actually have guide pins, so you can kind of see it there. Same thing on the other side, so you just want to loosely tighten all of them, get the trim panel on, and then you just got to hook up the speedo cable, and then after that she should be good to go.